Hi, this is Manjula Narayan, books editor, Hindustan Times, and this is Bookstack, the show where I pick the most interesting books that have landed on my desk this week. So this week's the first time that we're trying a video format. Usually it's a Facebook Live. So let's see how it goes, and should be enjoyable. Okay, the first book that I've picked this week is 13 Years, A Naxalite's Prison Diary by Ramchandra Singh. Very interesting. It's translated from the Hindi by Madhu Singh. Now, Ramchandra Singh of Bangarmao village in Unnao district of Uttar Pradesh was part of the editorial board of the Red Star Monthly, and he passed away when this book was in press. It's really an interesting book for the kind of insights it gives, and I think definitely I'm going to read through it. Usually, I get so many books that one just gives them for review, and I often don't get to read that much as I would like. But yeah, some books, you tell yourself that you must read them, and this is definitely one of them. So I'm going to read the flap so you get an idea of what the book's about. September 1970, Ramchandra Singh enters the Hardoi district jail in Uttar Pradesh as a Naxalite under trial. Barely 20, his life of expanding prospects in studies, politics, and love is reduced to the horizon of a life term. The odds are stacked against the survival of his humanity and imagination. But Singh regenerates his gifts of empathy, humor, reflection, and above all, language in a secret diary smuggled out with the help of friends. A singular record of recent history and of individual witness, Singh's prison diary, newly expanded, appears in English for the first time, offering unprecedented intimacy with the everyday life of the imprisoned everyman. Singh challenges us to look without flinching and question our assumptions about crime and punishment. So that's 13 Years in Naxalite's Prison Diary by Ramchandra Singh. So that's definitely a recommended read. Then we have The Untold Story of India's First Newspaper by Andrew Otis. And the back has, a glowing comment by Shekhar Gupta. The history of the Indian press didn't begin with the emergency, the freedom movement, or with the old titans, the Times of India, the Statesman, or the Tribune. It began much before these in 1780 with James Augustus Hickey's Bengal Gazette. Till now, Hickey was just a name you read on the first day of your history class in journalism school. Wonderful to see Andrew Otis, a young scholar, bring that first page of our journalistic heritage alive. And it took, Andrew was a PhD student at the University of Maryland. And, it took him to, I don't know why no Indian thought of doing a book on Hickey's Bengal Gazette. But, well, the fact that somebody's done it, I'm glad. So, and it's really an interesting book, and if you're interested in the history of Indian journalism, like everybody who's Indian and who's a journalist should be, and even if you're not a journalist and you're just interested in the news, you would be interested in the history of India's first newspaper, and what a newspaper it was. Full of masala. So let's see the flap. Late 18th century Calcutta. The British are well ensconced in Bengal, but not yet an empire. Indian princes pose a danger to the East India Company's plans of commerce and domination. Warren Hastings, the British Governor-General, is attempting to consolidate his power in the company. Johann Zacharias Kiernander is on a mission to convert heathen souls in a land far from his native Sweden, though he's not averse to lining his pockets while doing God's work. Into the steaming cauldron of skullduggery and intrigue walks James Augustus Hickey, a wild Irishman seeking fame and fortune. Sensing an opportunity, he decides to establish a newspaper, the first of its kind in South Asia. In 2 short years, his endeavour threatens to lay bare the murky underside of the early British Empire. Does it succeed? This is the story of the forces Hickey came up against, the corrupt authorities determined to stop him, and his resourcefulness. Some things never change. The product of 5 years of research by Andrew Otis in the archives of India. And sometimes, he's talking about, delving through the archives in India, as we know from various scholars who've, had to resort to the archives. Had to refer in the archives. It's that itself is, you have to be very inventive to get what you want in our archives. And he's done a remarkable job. So so he's gone in the archives of India, UK and Germany. Hickey's Bengal Gazette, the untold story of India's first newspaper, is an essential and compelling addition to the history of subcontinental journalism. Definitely a good read, you know. And this is the kind of book that you've got to keep and you refer to and kind of read and think, wow, we've come a long way. Of course, you've still got a long way to go. And then we have Easier Said Than Done by Alan Wilkins, A Life in Sport. Well, this is an interesting book. I mean, if you're a cricket fan, of course, you know who Alan Wilkins is. And this is about, he's talking about his life. And very interesting. From Mumbai and Lahore to the high veld of the Transvaal and his native Wales, Alan Wilkins is internationally known and admired as an accomplished sports broadcaster. Growing up as a talented young cricketer in the 1970s Cardiff, Alan dreamt of a life in sport and yearned to travel the world. But as he reveals in Easier Said Than Done, he could never have imagined that he would realize his dream via a microphone and camera rather than with a bat and a ball. So millions of sports fans know Alan Wilkins, the broadcaster, but now, with Easier Said Than Done, they can get to know the man behind the microphone and the absorbing story of his life in sport. It's got a foreword by Sunil Gavaskar, and Virat Kohli has said some things on the cover. So, yeah, I'm sure this is going to be a bestseller. Everybody who's mad about cricket, which is everybody in this nation, will probably go and buy it. So, there you have it. Easier Said Than Done by Alan Wilkins. So that's it for today. I'll have a quick recap. I'll hold them all up. 13 Years in Naxalite's Diary, Naxalite's Prison Diary by Ramchandra Singh. The Untold Story of India's First Newspaper by Andrew Otis. And Easier Said Than Done by Alan Wilkins, A Life in Sport. So great. So hit like, share, comment, and come back next week where we'll have another book stack where, I present the most interesting books I've got this week. See you.